Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Unprofessional Experts. We took a little bit of a hiatus, but we are back. Hopefully, we'll get back to a more consistent schedule than what we were using because we were kind of stopped what we were doing. But we're back, hopefully, getting back on schedule. And what do we got today, Jeremy?
Well, today, as we know, the draft happened about a month ago. Yeah, about a month ago now, honestly. Um, and we're kind of just gonna go back. We're gonna go through, kind of grade what we thought what every team draft, how they did, and kind of give projections on how the season's gonna pan out. So,
All right, sounds good to me. So let's get into it.
okay. So I guess we're gonna go ahead and do it. We're gonna do it in alphabetical order, just so you guys know. So we'll go ahead and start with Arizona here.
Yes,
So
Arizona had the number 4 pick in the first round, and they took Isaiah Simpson. And I think that's a stud of a pick, if you ask me.
yeah,
Um,
I could definitely see that being
he's
a stud.
and the team needed a linebacker, which he's definitely going to fill that. Probably going to be a day one starter. Um, just an absolute beast out there at Clemson. He's definitely going to help the team, but everyone knows that about him already. So we're just going to start looking to see what else they got in this
Yeah,
the draft. Um,
yeah.
their next pick was in the third round, or I said did I pick? Did I say fourth round pick? Arizona had. I lied.
No,
Arizona.
you said first round.
I know, but I think I said Arizona had the fourth overall
Oh,
pick.
that's all
Arizona
right.
had the eighth overall pick. I apologize for that. With the third pick, with their third round pick, man, I cannot speak already today. Um, Arizona went with Josh Jones. Now, I don't know a whole lot about Josh Jones. I'm not gonna lie to you, but just doing a little bit of reading, team captain, 4-year starter at left tackle. I mean, those are already impressive.
Yeah, those alone, especially being a team captain and a four-year starter,
Yeah, that means he would
that's
start
kind of
as.
give him a little bit of the leadership aspect, and hopefully, I guess you could
Hopefully,
say it won't go to his head.
yeah, hopefully he's out there to protect Kyler Murray a little more because I know he got hit. Kyler Murray got hit quite a few times if I remember right last season. So
Yeah, if honestly, Arizona in general, I think as long as they can keep Kyler Murray protected, dude, they're
Kyler Murray's gonna be a
they're
stud.
looking pretty good, especially with their pickups this year too in free
Yeah,
agency.
yeah, and the trade they made that we don't want to get
DeAndre
into.
Hopkins plus
Yeah.
Scoop.
So the fourth round pick that Arizona had was a defensive tackle out of Utah named Lecky Fotu, in case you didn't know that. And
He's
again,
got some looking hair.
I
I
see.
think looks from like Hawaii or something.
I say he's got some. I don't want to say Samoan, but very Samoan-like hair going on there. Um, he's a good run stopper from what I've kind of looked up on him. He can
Yeah.
get up right in the middle, get in their faces. Um, their next pick they traded for Houston, which we all know that trade, and
Got another defensive tackle
I'll say another defensive tackle,
from
Rashad. How do you say it? Rashad
Sherrod
Lawrence
Lawrence.
from Clemson, and everyone.
Three-time captain, which is pretty good. Average size and speed, good length, big hands.
I'll say
Um,
I will say this, everyone knows what Clemson did, and I remember watching him a few times, and he
yeah.
was he was very good on the defensive line. He kind of ran the defense through him. He was kind of like, hey, I'm gonna run this defense, and that's how it's gonna go, basically. But very studly player, very good. I liked watching him. He was fun. Um, fourth round, I think he was a steal. Honestly, I think he probably could have gone third round, in my opinion. But
I could see that.
I'm an unprofessional, so I don't know what I'm saying here.
Yeah.
Number
Yeah. Right.
six pick was an inside linebacker, Evan Weaver from California. I don't even know if I've ever seen tape on this guy. I'm not gonna lie to you.
No,
He
I haven't. Not
say
gonna lie.
he's a pretty decent sized dude though, 6'2", 237. I think he had a pretty good combine if I remember right. He was pretty quick. Um,
Yeah, it's looking on here. It looks like he's got a lot of special abilities that'll help him develop as a core special teams player. So
and then their final pickup was a running back, Eno Benjamin from Arizona State. So staying in Arizona, this guy just can't get out of that hot state, can he? But another hole that they filled, I think Overall, I think Arizona did a really good job at filling holes.
I think so.
Yeah, they had,
I definitely think so.
they needed to address the offensive line. They needed some new defensemen, inside, outside, defensive tackle, a new running back now, obviously. Um, the only thing they could have grabbed if there was someone there that they had liked was a wideout. But otherwise, I think they did a pretty solid job with what they had. And do you want to hand out the first letter grade, or you want me to hand it out?
I'll let you hand it out.
You want to let me hand it out? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and say A minus. I think they did like I said, I think they did a great job at filling holes. Isaiah Simpson is a stud. I liked watching him at Clemson because I was a big Trevor Lawrence fan, so I liked watching him at Clemson. Rashad Lawrence from LSU is going to be a defensive mastermind up there. I'm pretty sure in the future, um, and just filling holes. So I'm gonna go in and give him an A minus.
Yeah, I think I can agree with you there as far as being an A minus. They really did a good job of, like you were saying, filling the holes and all that stuff and getting who they wanted. So
I'll say that
I
that you go ahead.
I was gonna say I think so. Last year in 2019 they went 5-10-1.
Are we doing records this time, or will we wait until 32
I think
teams in 32 days?
I mean we could wait. I think
We can wait. All right. Well, okay, we'll wait. We'll wait on
I
it.
think we'll wait. Oh wait.
All right.
So let's go ahead and move on to Atlanta
Yeah,
then.
and before we move on, we should probably talk about what we're grading teams on. For me, like the number one thing is team needs. What does your team need, and who did you grab when you had the chance? So, like, say you needed a quarterback, but there wasn't a great quarterback available, and the next best guy was supposed to go like 3 rounds later. Did you grab a quarterback and reach, or did you wait? Did you need a wideout, and did you grab a quarterback? So for me, it's kind of like, did you fill the holes? Did you draft kind of the best guy at
Did
the
you? I would
time?
say, did you fill the holes? Did you reach? Do you think that they're gonna be
Yeah,
like a day one starter overall, gonna be this awesome player, stuff
yeah,
like that? So
yeah, basically. So, all right, moving on to the next team though, the Atlanta Falcons. They had pick number 16 in the first round, and they grabbed AJ Terrell, a corner from Clemson. And again, I watched Clemson play quite a bit this year because Trevor Lawrence, but I remember AJ being pretty dominant out there. I don't think he let very many passes get past him. He was very quick, very just was able to navigate the field very well and was able to close a lot of gaps really easily. Um, Go ahead and moving on. Their second round pick was Maryland Davis, a defensive tackle from Auburn. Um, he's built like a tackle. Dude's big. 6'3", 303 pounds.
oh
You-
yeah, you want that as a
Yeah,
defensive tackle
I'll say
because
like
you will be a big man.
if I'm a quarterback, I don't want that landing on top of me. Like that's all I can say. If I see that big dude coming at me, I'm like, I'm out. Peace.
I think this is a really good pick for them. Just kind of reading up on him. So he's got some really violent hands. He can really get off the block. Um, get in the quarterback's face, put a lot of pressure on them. So
Yeah, I'll say good defensive tackle. All right, you want to go ahead and grab round three?
yeah, so it looks like round three. They drafted a center from Temple. Oh, wait, no, where is he from?
Yep,
Yeah,
Temple.
Temple.
You can read. You're doing great.
Um, go look here. I
He's
mean,
quick. He
yeah,
he, he gets he
he's
gets up
quick.
quick. Um,
He does have a lot of quickness.
he's
It's
he's another big dude. It seems like Atlanta went towards this big dude sort of mentality, and that's definitely what he
they
offers.
did because the
Six
way that
four,
I'm
307.
picturing it is Atlanta's kind of in a win now mode, especially after going to the Super Bowl, getting 28-3, as we all know.
Oof.
They're kind of in a win now mode, so they're going to try and protect Matt Ryan at all costs,
Oh
which
yeah,
is,
and
the smart thing.
they've got a brand new running back there now too, and Todd
Exactly.
Gurley. They're gonna have to make sure they can get
And
holes for him.
as long as Todd Gurley can stay healthy, because I know last year he was dealing with a lot of injuries and
Yeah,
stuff.
but
So,
we'll get into that when we actually talk about deep Atlanta talks. Um,
yeah.
so Atlanta had two fourth round picks. Michael Walker, inside linebacker from Fresno State, and Jalen Hawkins from California, strong safety. And Hawkins was a 3-year starter. He was a good run stopper. Was able to really diagnose plays pretty well. Um, he he does get a little bit grabby in pass coverage. He kind of like puts his hands up a little bit too much, draws a little bit too many fouls. You'd like to see him take those off, but that's just something obviously he's got to work on. Um, had 10 picks in the past 3 seasons, so not terrible numbers, but you want to see him maybe jump that up a little bit. Do you want to talk
Yeah.
about Walker over here?
Walker. Yeah. Looks like he's got some good speed and length, and he's he can run. He's got a lot of range in his run and stuff like that. Above average tackler. Um, he can looks like got some good blocking in him too.
Mm.
Especially with the run and stuff. Got a good awareness stuff. Can get to the quarterback if need be. Really versatile player, I would say. Um,
Well, I mean, he's definitely gonna be. He looks like he's gonna have an impact on special teams. Definitely being a good blocker for the guy
yeah.
bringing it up. So that's like your third. That's your second player already that's been special teams. So you want to go ahead and take what the Atlanta seventh round pick was? Talking about special
Mother.
teams.
Oh, punters, bro. Punters are people too. Punters
Exactly.
deserve love. Pat McAfee once said it. Punters are people too. And once Pat McAfee, he's basically he's the best punter.
All right, we're not
No,
getting
no
into that.
bias or anything, but
We're not getting into
yeah, it
that
looks
today.
like he's the seventh rounder from Syracuse, a punter. He's got smaller hands, but above average leg strength.
Yeah,
He has kicked field goals before. It looks like, but
it's definitely
you
gonna
know,
be interesting. By the way, his name is Sterling Hofrichter. Since Jeremy didn't want to say his name, but I will say this: Atlanta's gonna be in a tough division this year. Atlanta's got
they
New
will be.
Orleans and Tampa. So if they want in, I'm gonna say Atlanta's gonna need a wild card spot to get in. But that stuff we'll save for later. Um, overall, you go ahead and hand out the this letter grade. I went out the last one. You go ahead and hit this one up.
I think I think I'm gonna have to maybe go with maybe a B minus.
Okay, I
They
was
got a
thinking.
they got a couple good pickups, but I feel like they could have got a little bit more protection for Matt Ryan. A little bit more help on the defensive side.
Well, they could always move Matt Hennessy over to an offensive guard position or their current center over there if they
That's
needed to.
true.
Make him learn something a little bit new. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty close with you. I'm say B minus. There's a lot more holes. That's something they need to fill. They need some sort of pass rusher still. They
Yeah.
need someone on the outside who can pass rush as well. Pass rushing, run stopping. They need both of those. Um, and then, like I said, maybe like you even said, offensive guard. Maybe it's because it's gonna be kind of hard moving a center from center position to a guard spot. So it's gonna be kind of a rough one. But I mean, C minus, B minus, or C plus, B minus, somewhere in there. My bad. All right, moving on. Baltimore, number 28 overall was Patrick Queen, an inside linebacker from LSU, and he's got some stamina. He's got a guy that can go out there and he can be on every down if you ask him to.
Yeah,
He's
he's gonna bring a lot of energy to that defense, to that team.
yeah
Um, gonna be able to be that, not necessarily a ball hawk, but
yeah. Hope I'll
keep
say
an eye on the ball, help control the defense.
he's
Kind
he's
of.
he was very good at making sure that the offense the he was very good at recognizing plays. So if you needed a pass rush, he was good. He wasn't amazing. He was good, but he was really good at stopping runs. He could sniff out a run and be halfway across the field.
Oh yeah.
He was very good. Man, they had a lot of picks. Just going to go through this real quick. J.K. Dobbins out of Ohio State, running back, and then Justin what?
Mad
Madabuki?
Blake.
Madbuk? Defensive tackle from Texas A&M. Devin Dunbury from Texas, wide receiver. Malik Harrison, inside linebacker from Ohio State. Tyrese Phillips, Mississippi State offensive tackle. Ben Brenson from Michigan, offensive guard. Bendrick Washington Jr., Texas Tech defensive tackle. James Porsche, SMU, wide receiver. And Geno Stone, Iowa, safety. So, wow,
A
that was a
lot
lot.
of draft picks. A
That was it.
lot of draft
That
picks.
was,
That's for
how
sure.
many picks did
They
they
made a
have?
lot of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 picks. They had 10
10 picks.
picks,
That's a lot.
which is pretty crazy, especially because they had
A
three,
14
four,
and 2
three,
season.
four, 3 rounders,
Yeah,
and
but
they got. I think they filled
oh yeah,
a lot of their needs and stuff.
they got some offensive guards that can help move a little bit with the quarterback out there.
Oh yeah.
Um, so they got some guards that can help move around. They're pretty quick on their feet from what I've seen. I remember watching Brenson when they played against Michigan State, and he did a really good job. He needs to get a little bit bigger. maybe a little bit longer in the arms if he can. I don't think he can really do that anymore at this point in his life. But you know, 6'5", 315 pounds, and 6'5", 331 pounds. So really big guys that are just gonna go out there and make sure Lamar Jackson doesn't get knocked down, or if he starts scrambling, just try and keep up with him.
Yeah.
um, the
I
only
think
hole
I'm gonna.
you you go ahead.
What I was gonna say. I think overall I'm gonna have to give them. I probably have to give them an A to be honest.
I'll say I was thinking A minus A. I like how they drafted a lot of defensive tackles, which I know one of their big holes was a defensive end, a guy who can get on the outside and rush, but they got two defensive tackles who are really good pass rushers. Justin Matabuke. I don't know how to say his name. In the third round, he's a pretty decent pass rusher. So hopefully get him on the end and let him just run around and beat those one-on-ones.
Yeah.
Ooh, excuse me. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and stick right there with you. I'm gonna go ahead and say A. Baltimore had a really good draft,
It's
especially
gonna be a lot. I think a lot of people are gonna be kind of fighting for spots.
yeah.
Kind of help put the
Oh, it's gonna be a
real
lot of
returning veterans kind of help put them over the edge, get that extra little kick, or maybe even have the new faces come in and show up and
yeah. I'll say I'm
be better
excited.
than everybody. So
It's gonna be very interesting, but I definitely think this is a team that went 14-2 last year, dog, and they had a really good draft too.
exactly,
And
yeah.
what's crazy is they have all these draft picks, but not half of them are even gonna start because just how good that team already is. So, um, yeah, that team's gonna be fun to watch next year. Moving on, Buffalo. They did not have a first round pick. They had a second round pick though, and they grabbed AJ Espin, Espinoza. Yeah. Eh, Espinoza from Iowa, defensive end. And then they grabbed Zach Moss, running back from Utah, Gabriel Davis from UCF, wide receiver, Jake Fromm, quarterback from Georgia, Tyler Bass from Georgia Southern. He's a was PK punter kicker. Isaiah Hodge off Oregon State, wide receiver, and Dane Jackson from Pittsburgh, the corner. Um, Buffalo went really weird in the fifth round. I'm not gonna lie to you. I wasn't really
Yeah,
expecting them to go with Jake Fromm. I understand why they did. Don't get me wrong. I understand why they did because you always have to have a backup because what if, what if. But
but at the same time, I'm thinking they 100 not 100%, but they drafted Jake Fromm just kind of put Josh Allen over that top because
I say he was
he's been doing pretty good in
mediocre.
Buffalo. He's gotten his team to the playoffs the last 2 years, if I'm not mistaken.
But yeah, hopefully
They
this will
they
give.
should have beat the Texans last year. I'm just saying.
hopefully this will give. Hopefully this guy give him a little bit of bump, and Jake Fromm can just be like that motivator for Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Um, good good defensive end in AJ Espinosa from
Oh yeah.
Iowa. He's a big dude, you know, really strong, and just make sure that there's no running back. I apologize, running to that outside because he's gonna set that edge and make sure you're not going anywhere,
Oh
bud.
yeah.
Good pass rusher too, but Buffalo had a pretty good draft. I would have liked to see them take some sort of offensive lineman or
Yeah.
even a linebacker because I know those are one things they're kind of struggling in. But give Josh Allen some protection, and then have someone who
Especially him being a young quarterback, you need that protection.
exactly, and have someone who can kind of run that defense through. What that can be like, sit back on that outside linebacker, the inside linebacker position, and just watch and kind of ball hawk to see where what's going on. Make the audibles, have someone
Exactly.
to run that play through. But other than that, I think this was a good draft for them. They got a really good running back in Zach Moss. Gabriel Davis is a stud of wide receiver. I like Isaiah Hodges from Ohio State, so they got a lot of weapons too offensively. So I like to see this team be a little more rounded. Um, Overall, I know I kind of dinged them for not having the offensive linemen or the linebackers like I wanted, but I'm gonna say overall, I'm gonna go ahead and give them a B plus.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I think the thing that would have put them over that top to get into that kind of A range would have if they would have drafted an offensive lineman.
I'll say had they just even if it was just someone like even if it was the late seventh, they grabbed Dane Jackson in the seventh as a corner, which they needed a
Yeah.
corner. Don't get me wrong, or maybe taking one less wide receiver, um, in one of those spots. Just grab an offensive lineman and just hope he develops. Then again, there might not have been anyone there that they were really liking at the time, so that's understandable. But uh, yeah, that's just kind of how I feel. Wish they would have grabbed someone offensively for the quarterback, but
Yeah.
yeah.
All
All
right.
right.
So moving out of Carolina now, they had the seventh pick overall in the first round, and they picked up Derek Brown. We'll go through the rest of the draft picks here. So second round they picked Yetur Gross Matos, and then another pick in Jeremy Chin. Fourth round Troy Pride Jr. Fifth round Kenny Robinson. Sixth round Bravion Roy, and seventh round Stanley Thomas Oliver III.
If you know,
Derek Brown, I can already tell you right now, he's a big dude,
he's
and
a
I think
he's
he's gonna definitely cause disruption.
Carolina went a very interesting route, and I don't know if you noticed it or not by looking at position wise, but they didn't draft a single offensive player. They're all defense.
Yeah,
They grabbed two
that is
DTs,
very interesting.
two safeties, two corners, a defensive end. It's
I mean, when you have a running back that's also a wide receiver at the same time, basically,
that is true.
you don't necessarily need a wide receiver. I
Yeah,
mean, unless you want to get like a backup.
yeah. But the Carolina definitely needed to focus on defense, and I think they did a very good job at that.
They did.
Derek Brown, like you said, gonna be a stud.
He's a big
Penn
dude.
Penn State defensive end Uter Gross Matos. Man, I can't say names today. Uh, he's got a high motor. The dude is like, dude's an engine. He's gonna go and he's gonna give you everything he's got every play, and I love it.
Yeah,
Um, he's a good uh, pass rusher too. It's another big thing. So you got two big guys, good for pass rushing and running the ball. Um, it's gonna be really interesting to watch this team next year because I think they have a lot of first game starters. I think Jeremy
I
Chin
think
could
so.
start. I think Uter Gross Motos could start. I know Derek Brown's gonna start.
Oh yeah,
um, I think even Pride Jr. could get in there. To be 100% honest with you,
I could see it.
they needed corners. But yeah, I'm gonna let you go ahead and grade Carolina first because I have my letter in mind, but I want to see what you say.
I think I'm gonna have to give them. I'll probably give them a B to a B plus. I would think.
Okay. I'm thinking a little bit.
It's just I feel like they could have used some sort of offense, just something.
Yeah, some sort of like wide receiver or something like
Either
that.
wide receiver.
A skill player to get the fans excited.
Yeah,
Yeah, I see that. Um, Overall, I'm gonna say A minus. I think they'd had a great draft. They got really good depth. They got first game starters in my mind. Um, they really addressed their problem, and that was defense last year. They got a good quarterback in the offense in the free agency. Sorry, not offense. They got a good quarterback in the free agency, and I think that's kind of why they passed on maybe grabbing a skill player. But really great draft in my mind. All right, what do we got
I'd say so.
next?
Next, we have the Chicago Bears. I'll let you.
You gonna let me take this one?
I'll let you take this one.
All right. I wish I had an echoey voice right
This is
now
your
because it'd be a
this
lot of
is your
fun.
pride and joy. So
With the number 11 pick in the second round, Bears had no first round. Uh, Bears took tight end Cole Kmet from Notre Dame. Uh, we had number 18 in the second as well. We took Jalen Johnson, the cornerback from Utah. In the fifth round, we had three picks. We took Trevis Gibson from Tulsa, outside linebacker, Kendall Vindler, Georgia State corner, Daniel Mooney from Tunsley, wide receiver, Arlington Hambright from Colorado, offensive tackle, and Lachavius Simpson from Tennessee State, offensive guard. Um, as a Bears fan, personally, I think we had a really good draft. Um, the only thing I would have liked to see us grab is maybe an offensive lineman a little bit sooner in the draft. I appreciate that we finally did grab some offensive linemen because that was one thing that I was really kind of upset we weren't grabbing because there were some good guys, especially in the fifth round. I was like, hey, we should grab that guy. We should grab that guy. Like there was like 4 or 5 guys I had on a list, and I was like, hey, can we get them? And we passed on every single one of them. And I was like, that's not cool. Um, but Cole Kmet as a tight end is an absolute stud. Best tight end in the draft easily. Um, I like the fact that he was there. I didn't actually think he was gonna fall to us, but the fact that he was there has me really excited. Jalen Johnson, a corner. We needed a corner. I know a lot of people didn't think we did, but with Kyle Fuller being the only one there, Prince Amukamura is getting old. Buster Screen's not really reliable. Grabbing Jalen Johnson, who is a ball hawk in himself, is a great pick for us. Um, Outside grabbing an offensive lineman a little bit sooner, the only thing I wish we kind of would have grabbed is another safety because not Adrian Amos. Come on. What is our safety's name? Not Adrian Amos. Anyway, um, our safety is a great free safety and just let him sit in the middle of the field and just ball hawk and he can get sideline to sideline so quickly. But we've been having him sit in that strong safety position, so I wish we kind of would have grabbed a safety. Maybe Jalen Johnson will play that strong safety position so that we can get him some free safety time. But overall, I think we had a really good draft. Also, I don't know if you know this or not, but those two offensive linemen I named, Arlington Hambright and Latavius Simpson, guess what their nicknames were in college?
I know you told me. I don't remember the top of my head.
Ham and Pig. So we have Ham and Pig on our offensive line now. So I mean that's just great on nicknames. If you just ask me, we just won on nicknames. That's great. Um, but I'm gonna try and be unbiased when I say this. Personally, I'm gonna go ahead and give the Bears a B plus. We filled a tight end, and I know a lot of people were saying, "Well, you don't need a tight end. You have like 14 on your roster." Well, you gotta realize 8 of those guys are gonna get cut before the preseason even starts.
Yeah.
Um, like I said, I wish we would have grabbed a
I
safety.
mean, even in general, even you don't need to have him utilize him as like a catching tight end. You could use him as a blocking tight end. He's a big dude. He's 6'6", 262.
Oh, he's good at all. He's very well rounded. He's got a great catching radius. That's what I love about him.
Yeah.
Great catch radius. He's a quick guy. I don't want to toot his own horn, but he's a very Gronk-like player.
I was thinking the same thing.
If Gronk could block, he's very Gronk-like. Big,
But can he
strong
make
dude.
tackles? Because we all know Gronk can't tackle.
Yeah, no, Gronk can't tackle, but I don't even want to test Cole Kmet on tackle. We'll just put Khalil Mack out there and let him do that job. Um, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and give us a B plus. I think we had a great draft. Like I said, wish we would have grabbed a safety. I don't really think we needed a defensive end because we got a really good defensive line as it is. Maybe one for depth, but a safety I wish we would have grabbed. I like the corner we grabbed, and yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll have to agree with you there. You pretty much hit it right on the head. So.
It's almost like I know this team or something, like the back of my hand.
Yeah, no, no kidding.
All right,
All right, so we're moving on to the Cincinnati Bengals, and I'm sure all of you are aware of who got taken number one overall.
Tua
Joe
Tagovailoa,
Burrow.
right? Oh, well, what draft did I watch?
So yeah, first round we got Joe Burrow, LSU quarterback. We got second round T Higgins, Clemson wide receiver. Third round Logan Wilson, Wyoming inside linebacker. Akeem Davis Gardner in the fourth round from Appalachian State outside linebacker. Fifth round Khalid Kareem Notre Dame defensive end. Sixth round Hakeem Adiji Kansas offensive tackle, and then seventh round Marcus Bailey from Purdue an inside linebacker.
Yeah,
Joe Burrow. It's such a
it's gonna be not controverted,
it's a
but uh,
controversial.
yeah,
I think it's a very um,
pick.
controversial pick because we all know it it could have went either Joe Burrow, it could have went to
Yeah, I, it,
it's gonna I think it's gonna we won't really know necessarily the first season, first couple seasons really. I think we're gonna
after
have to
the
watch
rookie
them
deal, I think is when we're gonna start seeing for sure. Okay,
after their fourth, fifth years kind of in the league. We'll kind of get an understanding of okay, here's Joe Burrow stats, here's Tua stats.
yeah.
Which one
Um.
should have really been the first overall pick?
Oh yeah. In terms of filling holes though, I don't think any team did better than Cincinnati did.
No,
They
they
needed a wideout, T
destroyed it.
Higgins.
They demolished everybody else
It was
that
like,
had that.
hey, we have holes we need to fill. Let's go
Let's
get him.
go
What's
real
our number
quick.
one need? Quarterback. Take a quarterback first. What's our second need? A wide receiver. Get a wide receiver right after that. Then they kind of went off
Exactly.
track, but then they got their outside linebacker, their defensive end, their offensive tackle. So they got a guy to protect him. They got
Yep.
a guy from to throw to, which is actually very interesting that LSU played Clemson in the championship finals, and now Joe Burrow will be passing to a Clemson player.
Exactly.
So kind of ironic there, if you ask me. But I think all in all, I honestly think Cincinnati probably had one of the well, not even probably. I think they had the best draft when it came to filling holes.
Filling holes. I can agree with you there.
That being said, though, I'm giving him just a solid A. I can't give him an A
I'm giving him a
plus.
solid A. Yeah.
I was at, I probably won't give any A plus because that means you literally cannot do any better. I think there was a couple better offensive tackles they probably could have taken at different times. Um, I think they grabbed Logan Wilson, an inside linebacker. That's a great pick. You're probably gonna play him on the outside. That's fine. Um, would have liked to see them grab another offensive guy,
Yeah,
one or two more, just to help out Joe Burrow. Even if they don't start, at least you have backups to help him out because one of
exactly.
those guys goes down and Joe Burrow gets hit 4 times in a game, and who knows what happens after that? Joe Burrow goes down with injury or something. But
Yeah, I'll stick with a solid A too.
yeah.
So
All right, everybody's favorite team is up next,
that's what it seems like. The
and if you,
Cleveland Browns.
all right, they have the 10th overall pick with Jedrick Wills Jr. from Alabama, the offensive tackle, Grant Dupley from LSU, the safety, Jordan Elliott, Missouri, defensive tackle, Jacob Phillips, LSU, inside linebacker, Harrison Bryant, Florida athletic tight end, Nick Harris, sorry, Washington. Out of Washington, he was a center, and Devontae Peoples Jones from Michigan, wide receiver. They really wanted to protect Baker Mayfield.
Yeah,
I'll say they grabbed,
I mean, it makes sense
yeah.
because you Baker Mayfield's going in his third season, correct?
I believe he's actually in his fourth now. Is he not? We're about to
I
do a
think
little
no, I
Google
think he's in
search.
his third. I think he's in his third season, third or fourth. He's again young quarterback. You need offensive tackle. It's shown time
Yes,
and
third.
time again. If you take an offensive tackle early in the draft, aka Quentin Nelson, it changes the atmosphere
Yeah, and
of your offense in general.
Jedrick Wills is definitely going to go ahead and change that atmosphere over there. He's going to be a day one starter without a doubt in my mind.
Exactly.
He's a big dude. He's not let you through. He may take Quentin Nelson's pancake master. He's a big, strong dude, and that's what
I can't say anything about that. I'm biased towards Quentin
I
Nelson.
know you are, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it because you won't. But just absolute monster of a man. Grant Duplee from LSU safety, probably one of the better safeties if you ask me in this draft. Absolute great pick for them. Man, that came out of Indy. I wonder how they got that pick. Um, Grabbed a defensive tackle and Jordan Elliott. They needed somebody on that defensive line. They thought they didn't think that Miles Garrett was quite getting it done by himself,
Exactly.
so you need someone to come in there and help out. Makes sense. Um, Inside linebacker, tight end, center. Um, all in all, I think they had a really good draft. I don't know why this website says that they needed a wide receiver. You have Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham Jr.
That is true.
Don't really see you needing a wide receiver. One thing I really would have liked to see them get though, and something that I definitely think they did need was a corner,
I'd say so.
because that's the corner is definitely something they needed. Maybe another offensive line guy. I know you got Nick Harris for for the center. You can always move him over to the guard spot, but maybe a guy that maybe played a little bit better position. But I think Nick Harris is still a solid pick from Washington in the 5th round, and that's about all I got for him. I'm gonna go ahead and give him just a solid B plus.
I'll give him a. I'll give him a. Yeah, yeah, I'll give him a solid B plus. Yeah, like you were saying, if they would have drafted another type of just either cornerback
Corner,
or
yeah.
maybe some sort of the offensive lineman or something to kind of.
I mean, granted, Grant Duplee could always play that corner position for them.
Yeah,
He's a very quick guy. He could play the corner position for him. He's just got to learn how to guard a man more face to face compared to zone.
true,
But I could see him possibly, or maybe move whoever's at their current safety position down to the corner spot.
true.
Um, so B plus all around for Cleveland. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, I'd say so.
All right.
Now we move on
How
to
about them
quote
boys?
unquote America's team, the Dallas Cowboys.
Yes.
So first round, they picked CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver from Oklahoma. Round two, Trayvon Diggs, cornerback from Alabama. Round three, Neville Gilmore, Oklahoma, defensive tackle from Oklahoma. Fourth round, Reggie Robinson the second, cornerback from Tulsa. Tyler
Tulsa.
Bidas, shut up, center from Wisconsin. Bradley Anee in the fifth, a defensive end from Utah, and Ben DiNucci, quarterback from James Madison.
Yeah. Um, their
Bro,
first
I'm
round.
gonna say this right now. Dallas offense is gonna be kind of scary this year.
Yeah. I will also say this though. I was very surprised that they took a wide receiver 1st round. I think I was watching it. And I remember seeing Jerry Jones like looking at his phone. He's like getting all giddy, and I'm like, they didn't take a defensive player like we all thought they were.
I know.
Like I think everybody in the country was like, okay, they're taking defense. But
It's kind
then
of like just the shocker of the.
yeah, that it was CeeDee Lamb. But CeeDee Lamb is a stud. Honestly, I think he's probably the best wide receiver in this draft. I know he's ranked at number 2 and 3 on some boards. Some boards he's 1. I think he's the best. Probably one of the fastest guys out there. And he moves. Actually, isn't the
Yeah.
fastest guy. I read that wrong. I that read wrong. Not the fastest guy, but he's able to move so well, and so he's such a versatile player. He can get in and out of traffic really well. Great hands. He's a very solid player, and I know their offense is gonna be scary, but their defense isn't as scary.
Yeah, and we all know defense wins championships.
Exactly. Offense wins games. Defense wins championships. Trevon Diggs was a very good pickup though at the corner. I will tell them that. Trevon
Mhm.
Diggs. Um, Reggie Robinson the third or the second, sorry, at the corner out of Tulsa, not Tulsa. Another great corner. Ben DiNucci, that was a little bit of a surprise. Maybe they're trying to do another.
Quarterback.
Yeah, maybe they're trying to do another Dak Prescott over here. I mean, it wasn't 100% a surprise because Dak's still on his got to sign his franchise tag and everything like that. So it wasn't 100% a surprise, but maybe they're trying to pull another Dak out of the hat.
It's a
Um,
possibility, or just kind of bring him in to kind of
yeah. Another reason I'll take
get him up to the next level and stuff. So
another reason I can say this that Dallas grabbed CeeDee Lamb, so the Eagles wouldn't.
yeah,
That definitely they were playing like strategic games.
I mean sometimes you have to.
Yeah, that's what the NFL is about sometimes.
So I think honestly overall, I'm gonna have to give him either probably to A minus to an A.
Really, I'm going
Yeah,
almost the exact.
I'm gonna A minus.
I'm going almost the exact opposite. I'm saying C.
You think so?
I think C because they really needed to address that corner. They lost that. They really needed to address the defense side, and I know they did that with all the rest of their picks, grabbing Trevon Diggs and Neville Gilmore and Brindy A. But you lost your best sacker, the guy who had the most sacks on your team for the past 3 years. You lost him to Chicago. You lost your best corner in Byron Jones. And Trevon Diggs, don't get me wrong, is going to be day one starter, but he's not going to be day one starter number one. He's going to be a number two starter.
Yeah,
And I know when I was watching, there was a lot of good defensive players on the board that they probably should have taken over CeeDee Lamb. I understand you wanted another wide receiver because you wanted more flashy, fun stuff to watch. But there was a very good pass rusher. I cannot think of his name off the top of my head, but there was your pass rusher that was going to replace him. You had Trevon Diggs. Had they taken a pass rusher, I definitely think I'd give them an A minus. But the fact that they went offense when they really shouldn't have, they should have focused more on the defensive side, really knocks them for me.
yeah, okay, that makes sense. I could see what you mean by that.
Yeah, I do. I agree. They're going to be scary on offense, but I do think that overall. All right, moving on to Denver. They had a lot of picks. They had a pretty
They
decent
had a
amount.
hefty amount of picks.
They had, let's see, 7, 8, 9 picks, 10 picks, 10 picks. Um, their first round pick was pick number 15 at Jerry Judy, great wide receiver out of Alabama, and then they got KJ Hammer from Penn State, the wide out, and then Michelle Oja. Oh, I'm not gonna say that. You want to try it?
Oj Ojimwada.
Sure. The corner out of Iowa, Lloyd Cushenberry the third from LSU, a center. McTelvin Agim, Arkansas, Detroit. Dude, Denver has a thing with weird names. Because I will say this, I talked about this guy in our last podcast, Aquan, Albert O from Missouri, the tight end. Justin Strand from Wake Forest, outside linebacker. Nelson Multi, Fresno State offensive guard. Tyree Cleveland from Florida, wide receiver. And Derek there's a Z in that name? Tezuka from North Dakota State, outside linebacker. You can tell we're professional, can't you?
Yeah.
We really know what we're doing over here. Um, Jerry Judy, great pick. I loved him as a wide receiver at Alabama. He did great things with Tua. I think he's going to continue doing great things in Denver. They went double heavy on wide receivers, which I really liked.
Yeah.
They really needed them. Albert Akugwa, great receiving tight end, in my opinion. I think he's going to be really good. A big dude, 6'6", 258.
Oh yeah.
He's fast. He's big. He's got length. He's got big hands. He can line up in a wideout spot, if you really ask me. He's not the best route runner, but great player all the way around. Um, I think this is a very solid draft for Denver, honestly. Would have liked them to see a
A
couple
little bit
more
maybe
offensive line.
possibly. Yeah.
Let's say offensive line, defensive line. Focus on that a little more. Um, Obviously the guys they drafted could always be moved. I'm gonna stop saying that now because I've been said it like 4 times already. But so that's just kind of how I feel. I'm gonna give him a B plus. You know, not
I was thinking the same thing.
seems like B plus is kind of like our average, so maybe B plus should actually be C on our boards. Giving out a lot of B pluses out here. Um, but yeah, so that's kind of how I feel about them. I think they had a good draft, but you know, offensive line, defensive line could always be improved.
So moving on to the Detroit Lions now. And their first round pick, the number 3 overall, was Jeff Okuda, cornerback from Ohio State. Second round was DeAndre Swift, running back from Georgia. Third round, Julian Okwara, outside linebacker from Notre Dame. Another third round, Jonah Jackson, offensive guard from Ohio State. Fourth round, Logan Stenberg, offensive guard from Kentucky. Quintez Cephas, wide receiver from Wisconsin. Oh my God, they have a lot of draft picks.
Yeah.
Jaden Hawley, fifth round, running back from New Mexico State. John Panesi, defensive tackle Utah, sixth round, and the seventh round, Jashawn Cornell, defensive end from Ohio State.
I'm gonna say this, and I'm a Bears fan. I hate saying this. Detroit had a really good draft.
They did. I
They
think they had a really good draft.
they replaced Darius Slay with Jeff Okudua. DeAndre Swift out of Georgia is one of the better running backs, and probably the best running back in the draft, in my opinion. Julian Aquardu, the outside linebacker from Notre Dame, good guy. They got a lot of offense, another weapon for Matthew Stafford,
Yeah,
a backup running back. They addressed the defensive line. Detroit had a great
they had
draft.
a very good draft. They
Uh,
they filled a lot of holes that they needed to.
yeah,
It's
a lot of people tell them they need to draft a quarterback. They are married to Matthew Stafford until that man retires. They're not drafting a quarterback. I've been saying it since day one. They will not
yep.
draft a quarterback. They are married to him. They're stuck with him. So get over it. Um, Again, I'm gonna have to go unbiased. I'm giving Detroit an A. I think they had a
I'm gonna have to give them an A. They
they
didn't go full like they didn't go full. They didn't go too much on offense. They didn't do too much on defense. They kind of evenly spread it apart, addressed their issues that they needed. Got really good
Mic
draft
off.
picks. I think they're gonna be an interesting team to watch. I'll just say that. I'll leave it at that.
Mic on. Mic off. Mic on.
sorry about that. What were we saying? I had a phone call I
I
had to take.
was saying, they addressed a lot of the issues that they needed to. Didn't spend too much on offense, not too much on defense.
Mm.
They hit the nail on the head with a lot of their picks, so they're going to be an interesting team to watch.
Oh yeah. I mean, they're still Detroit, so they're still gonna choke it. But don't worry about that.
Yeah,
Did you give a letter grade?
yeah, I said A.
Okay. I want to take Green Bay.
Go right ahead.
All right, Green Bay Packers. Y'all get to hear it one more time with the first round pick, the 26th overall pick. They drafted quarterback Jordan Love. Quarterback Jordan. Sorry, I had to do it to you, Packer fans. Second round pick, they grabbed A.J. Dillon from Boston College, running back Joshua DeGura from Cincinnati, Tennessee, Kamali Martin, Minnesota, inside linebacker John Runyon from Michigan, offensive guard Jake Hansen, Oregon center Simpson Stenpike from Indiana, offensive tackle Vernon Scott, TCU for safety, and Jonathan Garvin, Miami defensive ends. I'm gonna say it.
Jordan Love.
Well, not just that. Probably the worst draft by any team this year.
I There might be one or two other teams that I put possibly behind it, but overall, I would agree with you.
Yeah, you needed a wideout. You needed weapons for Aaron Rodgers, and what did you get? His
He's been
replacement.
he's been asking for weapons for years now. They're like I'm not I know you're a Bears fan, I know you're gonna hate hearing this, but
Mm.
they're on the verge. They're
Oh,
this
they're
close
they're
to
close.
making it to the Super Bowl.
They need
They
weapons.
needed something. They didn't need a quarterback first round, I'll tell you that much right now.
No, there was plenty of wide receivers they could have drafted, and they moved up too. I think that's the crazy part.
They moved up
Had they stayed
like
where they
I think
were,
5 spots or something like that.
yeah, had they stayed where they were, first off, no one was looking at Jordan Love besides the Colts, who were in the second round.
Exactly.
So had they stayed where they were, they would have got Jordan Love where they were. So I think it's, in my opinion, my unprofessional opinion at this point, I think it's great that the team that's had great drafts for the past how many years had an awful draft, and instead of getting their probably one of probably one of the best players in the league, instead of getting him weapons to throw the ball to, you drafted his replacement. It's bittersweet.
Now, yes, it is bittersweet, but it potentially could give Aaron Rodgers that sense of competition, whether it's saying, hey, if I don't do my job good and consistently, I'm about to get benched for this rookie.
But here's the thing: Aaron Rodgers now want a double-bladed sword because
Hmm.
now he has to do a lot with a little. Still has to do a lot
Exactly.
with a little. Um, so I guess it's time. Is it time to grade them? 'Cause we can't spend too much time on. We're at the 46-minute mark, and we're only at Green Bay. We've still
Yeah.
got like half the league. We got over half. We might have to make this a two-part episode. We may have to Wednesday. We may have to do the last half of the league because I have to go here in about 15 minutes because last dance.
We'll do Kansas City's draft, and then we'll save the
Kansas City.
Chargers through Washington for part
Oh,
two.
okay. I see what you mean. All right. So overall, it's me the only one I probably say this for, and I can't wait to say it. D minus.
D minus.
I only give them a D
I
minus because they did fill some defensive holes. They filled some offensive line holes. They got a tight end, which they needed. They got a pretty solid running back in AJ Dillon. But the fact that they took a quarterback first round,
that
didn't
shoots
take
in
a
your.
weapon
Mm.
for Aaron Rodgers, shoot yourself in the foot. D minus, borderline F, 52%.
You honestly, I couldn't have said it any better myself. You hit it so perfectly.
See, this is why it's hard to do a podcast with this guy. I don't know if you guys realize this, but we have such similar opinions all the time that like most you listen to most podcasts and it's like, oh, two completely different opinions. Us, it's like now we're the same person.
All right, so we are moving on to the Houston Texans.
Yes, not a lot of draft picks.
They had
Five.
five draft picks.
Yeah,
Only five. I'm gonna put that into perspective. They could have had
six.
probably a solid, at least. I'm saying at least probably like 7 or 8.
And two of them
Want
could
to
be.
know
It
why?
could be the
Because
first round
what is
this
it?
year and next
What it?
year.
Who decided to get Who decided to trade for their best wide receiver away?
I believe that was
Oh
Bill
yeah.
O'Brien, right?
Oh yeah. Their new head coach GM combo,
Yeah,
Bill O'Brien.
he's doing great over there.
So anyway, second round, Ross Blacklock, TCU defensive tackle. Third round, Jonathan Greer, outside linebacker from Florida. Charlie Heck, fourth rounder, offensive tackle from North Carolina. John Reed, they're another fourth rounder, cornerback from Penn State, and Isaiah Coutler, wide receiver from Rhode Island in the fifth round.
I will say this: with what they had, they filled holes pretty well. With what they had.
Ye-
You have to take out the fact of what they could have had. That you got to completely erase. But with what they had, they did a really good job at filling holes. They got a defensive tackle they needed. They got a linebacker that can be a pass rusher. They got some protection. They got a pretty solid corner. They got a weapon to quote unquote replace DeAndre Hopkins because you can't replace him. But um, I think with what they had, they did a pretty decent job, in my opinion.
I
And
think I'm gonna. I'll probably put for my
unbiased.
grade, unbiased grade. I'm gonna probably have to give them. I'm gonna have to give them probably like a C or a C plus.
Okay, I was thinking C as well, just because like obviously they could have done better. There were some positions available at the time, but with what they had, I think they did an all right job. They
They
plugged
did what
holes.
they did what they could. You know,
Yep.
could have got a hell of a lot more draft picks because of a
Yeah.
certain wide receiver, but I'm not gonna say his name.
Yeah.
We already said his name a lot, but
Easy.
you know,
We'll move on. All
we'll
right.
see what happens.
So that man, Houston was short and sweet. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and take this next one if that's okay with you.
Nah, we're gonna go sideline real quick. So we got the Indianapolis Colts. My pride and true joy, my bread and butter, the only beautiful. Oof. So we had second
Tell
round,
your fiance that.
Michael Pittman Jr., wide receiver from USC. We had Jonathan Taylor, running back from Wisconsin. Third round, Julian Blackman, safety from Utah. Jacob Eason, quarterback from Washington. Danny Pinter, offensive guard from Ball State. Robert Windsor, defensive tackle from Penn State. Isaiah Rogers, cornerback from UMass. Desmond Patman, wide receiver from Washington State. Jordan Glasgow, inside linebacker from Michigan. And that is it.
That's it, huh?
That is it, yes.
You only had 4 picks in the 6th round.
Only 4, that's it. Only 4. We kept trading back, man. Anyways, Michael Pittman Jr. is a very, very good. There's very interesting draft pick.
Mm.
He's a big dude. He has hands like
Feet?
no other.
Oh.
He missed, I think it was only like 2% of all of his catches in college. In his entire college career, missed 2% of his catches.
Yeah, that's.
The dude's not gonna drop a ball.
Mm-mm. I mean, he might.
No.
He'll drop 2% of them.
Yeah, but 2% of like that's you're not gonna find better hands.
DeAndre Hopkins.
He's like I was gonna say he's kind of like DeAndre Hopkins in a way. If he doesn't miss the ball, he will catch it. We finally got another. We have a big wide receiver. He's 6'4", 223. And a lot of our receivers, they aren't that big of a people.
Big of
The
a
thing
people.
that I'm most excited for is to have him line up against T.Y. Have him line up with T.Y. Hilton. Because
Who you guard?
knowing that either T.Y. Hilton's going to be double teamed or Michael Pittman's going to be double teamed means one of the other's going to be left wide open, and one of them are going to take it to the house. It's as simple as that. Moving on to Jonathan Taylor, running back from Wisconsin. My God, he is going to be a monster this year. I'm telling you that right now. Especially with the combo of Marlon Mack and Jonathan Taylor behind that offensive line, dude.
It's a good one,
They're
too.
gonna feast. They are gonna feast. It was back to back to back, almost 2,000 yards in college. That's crazy. That's over 6,000 yards in college, and he's gonna be able to get past everybody. And I've watched so much tape on him, dude. He makes people miss so much, and he will just devour behind our line. Not only that, he can have him with Marlon Mack 1-2 punch, dude. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna move on to Jacob Eason now. I'm happy we got a quarterback, especially kind of in the place we're at. Our head coach Frank Reich, he's a genius when it comes to quarterback. Not only that, we have veteran quarterback Philip Rivers now. He's gonna be able to learn a lot. Hopefully not about picks. That's the bad thing.
I keep teasing you about that.
He's gonna learn a lot behind Philip Rivers. I'm gonna tell you that right now. He'll play in preseason. He'll kind of get his first little bit, but he probably more than likely won't end up seeing any action this year as a starter.
Yeah, probably not this year. Maybe next year.
I'm thinking depending on how Philip Rivers does. If Philip Rivers has a phenomenal year, I could see the Colts possibly signing him again, or just saying bye bye, have fun, and Jake Beeson, you're taking the reins. He's a big dude. He's 6'6", 231, so he can get above those
pesky hands.
Defensive, yeah, he can get above those pesky hands, and he can get up there. So.
Yeah. All right, what's your grade? Unbiased.
Unbiased. I'm honestly gonna have to give them an A minus to A minus. I think.
All right, you're definitely in the right ballpark. Cause I was thinking A minus as well. So you're not thinking too ludicrous, but they did a very good job.
They did a very good job with addressing what they needed.
Yeah. Would have liked to see him take a tight ends because you guys really don't have one. I know you keep saying Eric Ebron.
Eric Ebron's on our team, bro.
Oh, that's right. He was on there last year. Everybody.
Nah.
Who you got now?
We got Jack Doyle and then
Jack Doyle's your number one guy. You definitely need to use tight end.
Jack
Moving
Doyle's
on, defensive end. I would have liked to see you guys grab too, but other than that, you guys did a pretty good job.
Yeah, we addressed a lot of the offensive needed. We needed weapons. We got 3 of them on the
Mhm.
offense. So,
Yeah. All right, Jacksonville. If you want to take this guy, I gotta sneeze real fast.
all right. So Jacksonville Jaguars, number 1 overall pick. They got C.J. Henderson, cornerback from Florida,
Hmm.
and then Kalavon Chason, outside linebacker from LSU. Second round, Lavisca Chenault Jr., wide receiver from Colorado. Third round, Davon Hamilton, defensive tackle from Ohio State. Fourth round, Ben Barch, offensive tackle from St. John's. They got 3 fourth rounds here. So Josiah Sott, cornerback from Michigan State. Shaquille Quarterman, inside linebacker from Miami. Fifth round, Daniel Thomas, safety from Auburn. Colin Johnson, wide receiver from Texas. Sixth round, Jake Ludden, quarterback from Oregon State. Tyler Davis, tight end from Georgia Tech, and seventh round Chris Claybrooks, cornerback from Memphis.
All right, we're gonna have to speed run these last two because we're at that 55-minute mark. So
Speedrun, let's go.
Jacksonville, great corner, great outside linebacker. Really addressed their defense really early on. Did a really good job at it. New weapon for Gardner Minshew. Offensive line help for him. Literally, it was a mosh pot of everything. Everything and anything you would think.
They got a mosh pit of everything. They had a massive. They had a lot of picks. They
It
had
was
1, 2,
two,
3, 4, 5, 6,
four,
7.
6, 8,
They had
10.
12 draft
Ah,
picks. They
I'll
had
say.
they had a lot of draft
I'll say
picks.
they
They
had probably
addressed
one
a
of the
lot of this
most.
stuff.
And
But I know it's saying because they're in the Colts division, so I'm it's kind of hard to be not biased. But I can't. They did a very good job of addressing what they needed.
mm.
The quarterback is an interesting one
Well, they
because I
needed a
know
backup because they
they
just
have
traded
Gardner
away.
Minshew.
They need a backup. They just traded away Nick Foles.
That
To
is true, but it makes me also wonder: do you think this is going to be
Oh, of
a
course it's gonna
quarterback
be.
battle in Jacksonville now?
Of course it will be. You always need to have competition on your quarterback to make sure he's
Yeah,
at elite potential. Same as Aaron Rodgers, but it's the same thing. We have Aaron Rodgers. You don't draft a quarterback first round. Moving on. I'm gonna say solid A. I
yeah.
think
I'm
they're
gonna have to give them a solid A. They addressed a lot of their needs.
yeah
They got a lot of really good picks. They had 2 first rounds just alone with that, and they got 2 really good
yeah
defensive
first
players.
yeah.
So
All right, and now your Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. With 4 minutes left on the clock, we have Clyde Edwards Hellering. Clyde Edwards from LSU, the running back. Willie Gay Jr. from Mississippi State, inside linebacker. Lucas Nine from TCU, offensive tackle. L'Jarius Sneed, Louisiana Tech, safety. Mike Donna, Michigan, defensive end. And Thaddeus Keys, Tolone, cornerback. Clyde Edwards is a stud running back. Um,
yes,
he's not
but
the stud. Don't get your panties in a twist, but he's a stud. Um, and it seems like whatever. Come on, quarterback. Patrick Mahomes wanted first round is what they were going to take. Patrick Mahomes said, "I want a running back who can catch the ball and move quickly." Clyde Edwards, there it is, done. Um, inside linebacker, decent pick. I don't really think they needed one. Lucas Nying, offensive tackle, always can help with offensive stuff. L'Jarius Sneed, a safety. Again, you have Tyrann Mathieu. Really don't think you needed one. Mike Donna, Michigan, defensive end. You guys needed a good pass. You needed to buff up that pass rushing a little bit. And then a corner from Tolne. Again, definitely something they definitely needed was that corner position. Um, Maybe you have L'Jarius Sneed play corner if you have to, but all in all, I think they had an okay draft.
they had an okay draft. I think I'm gonna have to give them probably between a B minus and a B.
I was thinking B, solid B. Nothing too
Only because I think they reached a little bit
for Clyde.
for Clyde Edwards. I would have rather have
The
them
only
taken.
defense I can give Clyde Edwards is the fact that their next pick was the 31st pick of the second round. So they would have
That
had
doesn't
to
mean they could
hope.
have traded up though.
Could have, should have, would have. But at the same time, why didn't the Colts trade up for Joe Burrow? You make the same
I
comment.
mean, yeah, it
You make the
makes
same
sense.
comment all day, every day. But I think with what was there at the time and the fact that they know that Clyde Edwards wasn't gonna fall, I think it was a decent pick. I think it was a really good pick for him. Like I
Yeah,
said, a running back who can catch the ball, and he can run. He moves pretty quick. He knows how to get low and block. I think this is gonna be Kansas City is gonna be very interesting to watch again next year, along with the Baltimore Ravens. They're both gonna be interesting.
I'm telling you this right now. We're not gonna have a repeat Super Bowl champion.
You
We're
don't
not
think
even
so?
gonna have we're not gonna have a repeat of who was in the Super Bowl.
Interesting. Well, I mean, yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Possibly for NFC. Possibly.
Think the 49ers can go back?
Possibly in the NFC, possibly not.
I don't know. The
But
Bears looking strong this year.
I'm just saying this right now. I think we're seeing new faces in the Super Bowl this year,
Which I'm 100% fine with. I'm glad that that's starting to happen.
especially New England.
Tampa Bay.
Get them out.
Um,
Bye bye.
yeah, exactly. I think Baltimore's gonna end up going. Personally, I don't think they'll win it, but I think Baltimore's gonna go. Anyway, my grade, I'm gonna say B. That's where I'm sticking with them.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that has reached Kansas City. So we're at
That's the end
exactly
of
at a
part
one.
one.
I'll say we're at exactly at 1 hour mark. But I have to go, and so we will be back Wednesday. I'll be uploading this tonight, Sunday night. We will be back Wednesday with part two, where we'll be going over the draft picks of the Chargers, the Rams, Vegas, Miami, Minnesota, New England, New Orleans, the Giants, the Jets, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Seattle, San Fran, Tampa Bay, Tennessee Titans, and the Washington Redskins. So we will see you guys there. Make sure to like, subscribe wherever you are. Thank you first off for listening. We really appreciate you guys taking time out of your day to listen to us. Second off, make sure do all the likes and subscribes and follow us anywhere. If you guys ever want an update on what is going on, follow us on Twitter. That's where everything goes is Twitter. We do have an Instagram. We do not have a Facebook. We are on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, all of them.
And we have a special announcement, actually.
We
We
do.
are actually now on iHeartRadio.
Are we really?
We are on iHeartRadio.
We're on iHeartRadio. I didn't even check our emails to look at that, but we are on iHeartRadio. We're also on Spotify, so give us a follow anywhere, everywhere. Tell your friends, tell your mom, tell your grandma, tell anyone who cares to listen, all right? Because we like talking sports. We want to be able to talk to you guys about sports. Next Sunday, we hope to have the live thing up. We were planning on doing it tonight, but it just completely pooped on us, so it just wasn't going to work. So hopefully next Sunday we'll have a live where we'll be talking about the first team in our 32-day countdown, and you guys can talk and interact with us, and we will see you guys there. Anything else to add?
Nope, that's it. That's
All right.
about it.
Adios, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Have a good one.